2023 Board of Education meeting. Ask that we silence our electronic devices and we stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Additions or deletions to the agenda?
I already sent them to you, and they're already on board docs.
Okay. So I need a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of the July 12th, 2023 organization meeting. Mr. Engel? Mr. Coyne? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Then a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of the July 12th, 2023 Board of Education meeting.
So moved.
Coyne? Mr. Engel? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We have no awards, honors, recognitions tonight, no hearings and petitions. So as far as business considerations goes, 6.16 is going to be a separate roll call. So I need a motion for 6.1, for all of 6.1 to 6.15, or any portion of it.
Make a motion for all, except for the one you want to leave out.
Mr. Engel?
Can I actually ask a question?
We have to have a second before we go to discussion. Ms. Molino, discussion?
Yeah, I just had a question. On the substitute pay rates, what are the situations that we would utilize this substitute administrator rate?
Jackie, could you repeat it?
Yeah, on the substitute pay rates document,
Yes.
what are the situations that we would be utilizing the substitute administrator rate?
To date, we have only ever created individual contracts with substitute administrators. For instance, when a middle school administrator was out due to illness, we hired someone for a longer span of time with an independent contract. This would allow us to, let's say we knew someone needed to have foot surgery, we could have an administrator at that rate for a couple weeks.
Okay.
If we were going to go, there's only, I think, 4 administrators on the whole BOCES list, so the bench is not deep, but just having an opportunity to do short-term itinerant stuff, we wouldn't be hiring longer than probably a span like that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now I need a motion for 6.16, a motion to approve the tax rolls and authorize the tax levy and warrant.
So moved.
Okay, and that's going to be a roll call, correct, Sue? Okay.
Who's second? I'm sorry.
Ms. Molino.
Okay.
One sec.
Ms. Calney? Ms. Molino?
Aye.
Mr. Beninati?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Coyne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Very live.
I need a motion for one or all of the personnel considerations.
I'll make a motion for all, 7:1 through 7:30.
Mr. Engel, second. Mrs. Kelly? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Informational items. I think we could do it here. I know Jenny attended the New York State School Board Association Leadership Conference on Friday and Saturday. She sent an email to us, but if we could just get a little bit of your personal update.
It was a really good conference. They had a lot of information to share. They started with a panel discussion with a lot of the leadership from the State Education Department, just on some different initiatives they've put out, kind of a little bit about COVID too. And then there were a variety of different sessions. I attended one on closing the gap from learning loss with COVID, and it kind of went through 2 different districts' approaches to that. One was like to institute like a learning center that the students would go to, either self-selected or by teacher discretion. And then the other district kind of went heavy on the professional development for their staff. And then they provided like tutoring opportunities for the students at Huntington Learning Center, and then through an online platform that they didn't mention the name of. And then the other one was on mindfulness in the classroom and helping the students to kind of, and the staff to realize that Social emotional learning is kind of everybody's thing. It's not just one person's thing. It doesn't just belong to the social worker, to the classroom teacher. And then you kind of have to get teacher buy-in and have a really solid plan for how you plan to roll it out. Their district does a lot with it. They had a lot of opportunities where the community could come in too and do it with the students. And they did a lot of town halls and opportunities to kind of explain what they were doing to the community. And then the next day there was some discussion on disparity and suspension rates for different groups of students and the impact it has on them and their learning, and how the state education would kind of like to trend more towards restorative justice or alternate practices instead of kicking students out of the school for suspensions or whatnot. That was about it. It's pretty informative.
Very good. Anybody else with any informative items? Okay. And we'll go to special reports. Mike is not here, but the only update I would have would let everybody know that Mike and I met with Dr. Bailey last week, just to go over a productive conversation, just some things that we went over. We established committees. We're working on actually now how those committees are going to actually meet and function, and then get a schedule rolled out. Overall, I think it went pretty well. We'll share some more information with everybody individually. That's all I have, so turn it over to Dr. Belli.
Similar to Jenny, I had a conflicting conference this past week. I was able to attend a conference sponsored by NARIC. NARIC is basically the technology branch of our BOCES, and they actually support, although our BOCES is just the 24 schools around Albany, NARIC covers regional schools all the way up to the Canadian border and out to the middle of the state. But the conference focused primarily on artificial intelligence and the role that it will definitively play, not only in education, but in our lives, our daily lives. Presentations by the FBI and Homeland Security, as well as technology experts, and really talked about the balance of this new technology and the potential impact on the work that we're doing. Enough to be really excited and enough to be a little bit scared all at the same time. And I do expect that, as we, as educators in the classroom, are challenged with this new, it used to be Google and Wikipedia that were threatening us. Now the possibility of artificial intelligence writing papers, solving problems, submitting work is definitely a new challenge, and thinking about how we teach the students to live in a world with this responsibly and do the things that they need to do. So I do expect that we'll be having more regional discussion about that in our BOCES and with the other superintendents. And we were talking about professional development for both our staff and leaders and board alike, just so that we're all able to grapple with that. The other thing I was going to say is that, as Ed mentioned, we met and talked about a few procedural things around our inner workings. We talked about some of the presentations that we're most interested in this summer. Jean, could you get that for me, please? Thank you. For instance, on our old business, we were talking about the cost of lunches, high school. We talked about middle school playground, athletic presentations, things like that, and academic reports. We decided, because of the absence, some of our board will be absent this meeting and next meeting. We're going to move the academic reports into a September meeting, just so you know. So you're not waiting for that 2 weeks from now. But we will be able to share out with you information about the lunches, about playground, and Jen will give us some presentations on athletic program from this past year and where we're expecting to go into next year. Lastly, the opportunity, I ran across Mike over at Peter B. this morning for the last days of Discovery Camp. We got to see a play, a half-hour play, which was like I called it a mashup of every child's fairy tale that we've probably ever heard of, which was adorable. Got to see some art presentations, got to participate in a car show. The kids just are so excited about the work that they've done this summer, and it's really heartwarming to see. I say education should be like that every day. There's no reason why it shouldn't be. More car shows, that's what I say. That's about it.
Okay. And now to our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Winkler.
Well, as Brian mentioned, Discovery Camp is wrapping up, and I didn't get to see the show, but I got to see the behind-the-stage costume and makeup. We also are at the tail end of the Apex at the high school. I did pop in today, and we've got a mixture of students. Some have or actually finished their coursework, and some are still kind of plugging along till that last day. And many of them are in preparation for the Regents in August. We have it looks like 64 students are scheduled to take exams, ranging from Algebra 1 to Living Environment. The two biggest ones that we have students coming in for are Algebra 1 and Geometry, with a smattering in the other areas. So, and I believe that's fully staffed as far as teachers coming in to proctor and score those tests. So we're all set with that. And that's about all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. Now on to Jesse.
I don't have a ton. I will say I'm working very closely with Mr. Porter to review the sales for the high school to get you guys a good, accurate report to see how that would affect if we wanted to go to free for the high school as well. So we're diving deep. We're asking some questions of the state to see if we're allowed to do it, and our auditors as well to see what the ramifications are of making that decision. So.
Okay. We're now on to, we have no policy adoption reviews, no hearings and petitions. Upcoming activities.
Can I ask one question about the building and grounds meeting minutes?
Oh, did I skip over that?
I don't,
I did, didn't I? All right, let me back up. I apologize. First, let me go to old business. I didn't click the right thing here. As far as the report, the academic thing is being moved to September. I just want to make sure, because now I know, Jenny, I've spoken with you, that you're looking for specific plans for improving academic performance from the administrative perspective, correct? Mm-hmm. That way, so we get, I know the report that came through last time was a mixture, and we didn't feel like we got the core of what we were looking for, but that is what we're looking for, correct? Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Building grounds, updates on the playgrounds, that's going to come in just a minute. And Dr. Bailey went through all the rest of that. Okay, so now onto the Building and Grounds Committee report. Everyone should be able to open it. July 26th report. Do you have a question first before I give it?
so I'm really optimistic because I see it says delivery of scheduled for what I believe to be this week.
So
Do you know if that's
I
reality?
haven't spoke to Bill, but from that meeting you're correct. The delivery, maybe Dr. Bailey may know, of the playground equipment for A.W. Becker was supposed to be by 7:31.
It says week of, so they still have time to deliver it, from my
Right,
perspective.
that's correct. It would be this week. Do you know if it's here for sure yet, or?
I don't know.
No?
Okay, they got 2 more days.
So it was, when we had our meeting on the 26th, he was anticipating it was supposed to be here and installed, I believe he said by the end of summer. Peter Ravena-Coeymans, they were meeting with someone to review on the 27th, and the middle school structures are supposed to be completed by now.
How much more is being done to the structures that are out there in front of the middle school? I don't know, the side of, I guess?
How many
Would you
more?
call that? Like, where those structures are, is that like to the side of the middle school or in front of the middle school? Like, I don't know how to phrase that.
That's the side, but again, I think they strategically place them there so that when they're monitoring students at play in the parking lot, they can do both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's reasonable, but like, I'm assuming they're gonna put swings on those A-frames, okay.
Yeah, it is very lonely with just the frame.
Well, it looked a little more like a climbing structure, which might be a little bit more appropriate for middle school. In that vein, has there been any discussion about it being open to all grades potentially?
That's what we were going to talk to you about at the next meeting.
Okay, perfect.
I can tell you preliminarily, we talked to 7 schools, 7 middle schools, Urban Council, to smaller schools like us, and not one of them has recess for 7th and 8th grade.
Do they have a playground at the middle schools where the 7th and 8th graders attend for them to use?
Most of them do not, no.
I just think it'll be hard for those kids to see the other kids getting that opportunity, and I understand that it goes across their 20 minutes of time to do homework, but most of them have a 40-minute study hall as well, and 20 minutes isn't really enough time to complete things, at least
On the
from
plus side, if
my
you've seen
anecdotal reports.
the clever design of the middle school, the bunker-esque aspect of it, there's about 2 windows that are probably within view of that area. So I don't think, at least it won't be like as a constant, like if it were in the backfield or over in the tennis courts. I don't think that it's too visible. Our student support services offices are in the downstairs running along that corner of the building, and then there are some classrooms upstairs in the corner there. But at any rate, the other thing that you've asked is, what does science say about 7th and 8th graders having recess? What other schools have recess in 7th and 8th grade? And I interposed what other activities do 7th and 8th graders have access to.
That's fair.
That helps emulate that, because we know physical activity is valuable for a lot of reasons, health and emotional and physical health. So those are the 3 answers, 3 questions I hope to answer next time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We just basically, it's all there to read, but we went through the asbestos abatement work that was being done. It was completed at A.W. Becker. At that point, they were framing, custodians were painting classrooms, exhaust fans, installations when they were expected. Flooring was on order. Abatement was underway at Peter B. due to mastic abatement issues at A.W. Becker. They were performing the work 6/27 through 28. Then they were going to follow with framing the week of 8/31. They met with the elementary teachers to review progress and choose the casework counters and finishes as well. The middle school, the new transformer was delivered on 7/25. The meter issues were resolved. Electrical service cut over to Central Hudson. Upcoming old transformer removal, fencing, site restoration, demo. From 9W to the back, I don't know if anyone's gone by, but there was a trench. All the new conduit was run and was all covered over. They found an alternate for the backflow preventer. It was approved. The work schedule for that, I believe, is August 14th. It's about a 2-day job to install. The high school, the abatement will start on 8/1, and the work is expecting to take about 7 days. The concession trailer demolition at that time was 90% complete. I believe it's all done now, correct?
They were supposed to finish it last week.
Finished it last week. It was down. They were working on removing the footings, I think, because they were pretty thick the last I knew. The electrician had 1 to 2 days of work to install some stuff. The Prex box redesign was approved by SED, and they were finalizing the pricing. Has that been finalized yet, or that you know of, or no? For the change order?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We haven't received it
But
yet.
it was approved, the
Yes,
change order. So
SED has approved it,
that
yes.
is good. As far as the dugout and fencing goes, I know we all saw the emails, and Jesse kind of clarified it on what's going on with that. Does anyone have any questions? Make sense to everybody? Okay, so it's going out to bid, I believe, this week for the work that we approved. The bid will come back to the board because we have to know what it's going to cost. And then we either approve that bid or decide what we're going to do. We have to know what the numbers are first. So basically, I believe that's going to go out this week.
And the time frame around that, Ed, is usually, is it 15 or 30 days out to bid?
It depends,
Okay.
yeah.
But
It's a reasonable amount of time.
reasonable amount of time out to bid, then there'll be opening of the bids, and then there'll be awarding. So it wouldn't be back by our next meeting, most likely. It would be in a September meeting.
September, but there'd still be enough time as long as before the first freeze, so
Correct.
there's
yeah.
enough time.
We
to
just
go
want to
through.
ensure that the bid can be awarded and construction can be in prior to the winter so that it's there in the spring when the season's done.
Right, because we can't use the state contract, which I call the pre-approved bid, because you can't pull out those batting cages from that.
And be separated when we were approving it?
Well, we didn't approve the bid, the state contract. We approved in the minutes from that meeting, we just approved, how did we word it? To add the following adjusted list of items to the capital project. So we improved the fencing of the baseball field and the dugouts. But we didn't actually have a bid for that.
Okay.
So I think what Bill was trying to do, what he tried to do was to see if there was a way to still pull that out and do it. And it turns out that there is not.
Okay.
So we had our last buildings and ground meeting on the 26th. Another month has gone by, so we talked about sending it out to bid for what was approved.
Okay.
And then it will come back to the board and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Any other questions on the building and grounds report? Okay. Upcoming activities. I know the Ravena Friendship Festival is coming up sometime in August. The 26th. I know Dr. Belly was in the dunk tank last year. I'm not sure if he's going in that or not. I know Fred and I participated in the pie eating contest, which he won, but the pies were actually partially frozen, so it made it quite interesting. So that's a fun event that's coming up. Anything else anybody has to add? Any new business? Because we did kind of go over that. I would just ask, I know, Sue, I asked you, and some of the board members have asked me as well. I know we have a new communications person, but to get our website updated correctly, it still shows Fred as the Title IX officer and some other things there. So I have been asked about that, so if we could do that as well. If nobody has anything else, we will be going to executive session. So actually, we're going to go to executive session, matters in regards to pending and current litigation dealing with a DASA review. We have a first. Second, Ms. Molino, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we'll be in exec, will we be coming back, Dr. Belli?
We may come back and make a public motion.
We may come back and we may have to make a motion after exec. We won't know until we're in exec, so. Okay, we're in exec. Oh, and okay, motion to adjourn from executive session. Is there first? Ms. Kalani? Ms. Molino? So we have a motion. After hearing the recommendations and findings from an independent third-party investigation, the Board of Education will uphold the decision of the superintendent of schools or his designee in reference to the DASA complaint appeal submitted to the Board of Education dated May 16th, 2023. Motion to adjourn?
Do you need to move to accept that?
Okay, my fault. Motion to approve this motion? Ms. Molino? Mr. Engel? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn, Ms. Engel? Ms. Molino, all in favor? We are adjourned.
You were nearly perfect.
Nearly.